Thank you. Good morning. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. It's really wonderful to see all of you again, and I'm excited about having to facilitate our next training material, which is our business basic day. So just a recap of yesterday. We touched on a financial first step, which is mainly targeting individuals, and it's more on our personal financial budgeting or family budget. So we cover topics like, setting your plan, setting up your goals, having a plan and setting goals for yourselves. We emphasized on the importance of setting your goals, because that will encourage you to the main point of saving, and why should we save, the benefits of saving. We really went in depth into the budget, how to actually construct the budget. That's more or less a household budget, and the priorities in your budget. What's the first thing you pay for? And I continue to emphasize on that. When you start to pay for things, and when you actually note it down as part of your weekly budget or your fortnightly budget, even your monthly budget, depending on how often your income is, how regular your income is. I emphasize mainly on putting your savings aside. Before you pay for anything else, you have to get into the habit of paying you first, or setting your savings aside. Put your savings first aside, and the rest of whatever is left, then you use it for the things you need for yourself and for your family. So the priority for us is to try and embed the saving culture with all of us. So we try and target paying for your savings first, and we usually encourage you to pay at least 5 or 10% of your income. Put that aside. However you want to set it up, one for the plan, one for the unplanned, or you can set up several savings amount, or target amount for you to put aside for your short, medium, or long-term plan. And then thereafter, then you pay for the repayments, things that you've committed yourself to, and then you have to ensure that you meet your daily obligation, which is your needs, paying for the daily expenses, food, bills, bus fares, and fares for children to go to school. Other things like, we obligate ourselves with. Some of us, we like to obligate ourselves with our cultural obligation or our religious belief. We participate in things like that, and we actually do our expenses. After your living expenses, if you still have money left over, and you'd like to enjoy a little bit of your luxury, those are your wants. You can go without it, but they're also part of our daily living, which is not a need, but it's something we can enjoy. And that's after you've put your saving aside. You put your saving aside for your goal. You put your saving aside for the unplanned or anything that comes up. And these things we don't plan for, and we don't know. It can catch us off guard, and once you've done that, then you can enjoy. And the little luxuries that we enjoy is entertainment. We like to spend on maybe mobile data, maybe sitting around a social gathering where we have a bit of cover, things like what else, monthly grooming for males, for gents, and those are things that we can enjoy. Sorry, let me just admit Mary. Okay, so that's what we mainly covered yesterday, and we touched a lot on our lifestyle, mainly on our spending. I introduced you to the spending diary, where you can write down all your daily expenses or what you spend money on, so that you can track it, and that way you can actually see for yourself proof of how your spending style is like, or your lifestyle, where you can actually have evidence to reflect on. And I also encourage you that when you go and buy something, collect your receipt. keep it, review it, take the time out to look at what your purchases were, so that you can actually see the things that you need and the things that you maybe spend money on that you don't need. And those are things that will help you to understand how you can construct your budget, um, and be able to meet your meeting, sorry, for you to not meet, but for you to achieve your goals, the goals that you set for yourself and for your family. That's what I'd like to recap today about our training yesterday. And we touched a little bit on borrowing, how we sometimes um, not realize that the borrowing that we are conducting may not necessarily help us. If you get into the habit of doing small borrowings all the time and you're unable to save, then there will come a time when you really stuck or you're stretched financially, and it can really weigh you down. Worrying about how you're going to pay for what you already owe, and then having to be able to afford your daily expenses. And we don't want you to be caught off guard. So, what I touched on borrowing was mainly being a responsible borrower. If you're going to borrow, you make sure that it's for a good purpose. It's not for the little expenses that you can prepare yourself for. Sometimes we may not realize, but we already get in the habit. Okay, so the best thing for us is for us to always be prepared. And the best way to do that is to start small, baby steps. Start with a little amount you can put aside, and ask yourself what exactly you are saving for. When you have a goal, that's when you know there's a purpose of your saving. Otherwise, if you put money aside in the bank account just for saving, or at home in your penny box, and you don't plan it, what's going to happen? You're going to touch it and you're going to use it. Yeah. So when you have a purpose for that saving, it makes sense, and it will stop you from the compulsive spending. Okay, so those are some of the things that we touched on yesterday, that we can say we can work on our discipline with money. And I gave you a few tips on how we can better, our spending style, some things that we can avoid, like emotions and money, how they influence each other. And I hope that that has helped us. And like I said, it's not an overnight learning where we expect that you will learn it yesterday and you should change today. It's a work in progress. You have to start by trying. You have to test it. You have to see what works for you, what you change to better suit you. And that way you will improve, and then you will work your way from there. But the first step is for you to try it. We can have this session as many times as we want. The truth is when you actually try it, and that will make a difference for all of us. Yeah. Okay, so that's what we covered yesterday in Financial First Step. It was mainly on our personal expenses and finance, touching on household budgeting, setting your goals. Please, I cannot emphasize enough on the benefit of having a goal. Okay, you have your plan, set your goals, continue to use your goal to be your motivator to achieve your financial goals. Okay. Okay, good. So that was what we did yesterday. And today, I'd like to introduce you to Business Basics. Business Basic is a training that we have for micro business owners. It covers mainly the financial side of how to operate a business. And I would like you to ask as many questions as you can today. Yeah? If you have something that's not clear, feel free to raise your hand and let us know that you would like us to explain it a bit more in depth, so that we can be able to help each other. So we'll cover half of it today, half of the training today, and the other half we'll cover it tomorrow. Okay, so all good with us? So we have a lot of time today to cover it well. And if you have some questions, you can raise your questions today, or if you think of it later, then you can raise it tomorrow. So before we begin with business basics, I just want to ask, anyone has any questions from yesterday, any query, anything you'd like to highlight? Please, this is the time. No, I take it that everyone's happy with what we covered yesterday. Or should you think of anything you'd like, any burning questions you have later, feel free to raise it. And as long as we engage in discussion, we're learning. We learn every day. Okay, good. So I'll just quickly share what we're covering today. I'll just put it up. Okay, let me just share the screen. Okay, so this is what we are covering today. This is basic. Can you all see that? Can everyone see what I have shared?
Yes.
Can see it.
Okay, great. So this wonderful. Okay, so Vinaka. So business basics, this is what we're going to cover today. And we're going to cover up to page 18. So is the business making money? We'll cover that tomorrow. Okay, great. So we'll have some participation today from you, and I'd like to invite anyone wants to read page 5 for us. Before we read page 5, I'll read page 4. So I'll introduce us to the learning. There are many different types of businesses in the world. Some sell goods like farm produce, clothing, or electrical appliances. Some sell services like cleaning, medical services, or accommodation or tourist services. Some may have a shop. Others may travel to their customers or have a website, or a combination of these, like both. Despite the differences, there are a lot of things that are the same in the way businesses operate. This is particularly true when it comes to understanding the financial operation of a business. By understanding how businesses operate, we can start to make more confident financial decisions that can assist the business to be more profitable. Okay, so all of you are very much interested in this learning because you intend to start a little project of yours. You intend to, or you already engaged in some income earning project, and you want to make profit out of what you are doing right now. Okay, so that's what it says. This workshop talks about the financial basics of a business, the records that are kept, and how they help to make business operations more effective and potentially more profitable. All right, so we basically cover the financial side. We're not giving you ideas on, like pick from here, pick from there, what I can make and all that. I'm not teaching you a skill on sewing or teaching you a skill on wood carving or cooking or baking. No, I am trying to embed with us today how you're going to manage the financial side of your business. All of us, we can all have the ideas. We can have the skill, all of that. But if we don't understand how to manage the money of the business, which is the most important and the core of your business, to operate it, if we don't understand how to manage that part, that's how we'll see a lot of businesses as soon as they begin, and after a while it's unheard of again. They just quiet down. Somewhere along the way, someone maybe stumble with how they were handling their finances. Okay, and there's a lot of things that contribute to that. It's not just your knowledge. It can be from our cultural side. It can be from the surrounding we involved ourselves in. Okay, it can be the social group that we are involved in, and it's your decision. We're coming back to that again. It's your decision as the business owner. How are you making your decision around your money? Okay, so before we read number 5, I'll just quickly write on the board. Can you all see my board? I apologize that it's not close enough, but I put us in this. Sorry. I wanted us to be in this room so that I can write on the board. Okay, so there's 3 things. You can have your pen and paper ready. I'll try and write big. First of all, when you want to run a business, the first thing you must look for is can you see that?
Yes, it's skills.
Yes, we can see it.
Yes. Okay, good. So you can all see that. First of all, you need to have the skills. You need to ask yourself, do I have the skills to operate this business? Or do I need to get someone that has the skill? For example, if I want to open my tailoring business to sew all the chamba and all of that for customers, and I don't know how to sew, but I can provide the finance. See? So what I can do is I can look for a tailor that can come and work for me and sew the clothes. So you have to ask yourself, do I have the skills first and foremost for that that business you want to operate or you already operating. And I know most of you have it. You've acquired the knowledge how to do tie-dye like Marita. Your tie-dye dress looks very beautiful, Marita.
Thank you.
So those are some of the things that we will look at. The first thing, look for the skills. The second thing you must understand is you need to have this. You need to have a market. Okay? You need to have a market for your product. You need to have a market. And when I talk about the market, I'm not talking about the market where they sell vegetables, like a location. Location is good, but what I'm talking about here mostly is here. You need to have someone that will buy your product. Can you see that?
Yes.
Customers. You need to have someone that will buy your product. So if you are going to bake a cake, what kind of cake you're baking? Will people want to buy your cake? Those are the things you have to ask yourself. Otherwise, you'll be wasting your time. If you're baking your cake, you're wasting money, you're wasting your time, you're wasting gas or firewood or whatever you use. You'll be wasting a lot of resources and time in making something, and you don't have people that will buy. Okay, so your market can be targeted. You can say it's only for women, it's only for children, it's only for men, it's only for adults or for a certain age group. So you have to understand who is your market. Okay, once you understand who you're selling to, your business is promising. The third one is you have to look for new ideas. Okay, you always have to come up with new ideas. Why should you do that? Because you are planning for the future. Okay, you must always plan for the future. And in this item, we go right back again to goal. Your business goals. What are your targets? What are you forecasting for say next month? What are you going to do then? So new ideas encourages diversification. You start to grow. When you diversify, you are growing. You are telling yourself, I started here on say $100, and then by end of this year, my business should be rolling on $300. My stock was only 25, and by the end of this year, I should be rolling on 50, double. So you have to grow. Or I started sewing dresses for women, and by the end of this year, I am diversifying into sewing shirts, little girls' dresses. I'm diversifying into sewing other things like for the house, curtains and pillowcases. I'm diversifying. You're growing. Remember that. Okay. So the other thing you have to remember, why you should always come up with new ideas when you plan for your future, is you will always have this in the market. You will always have competition. Don't forget that. So what makes you different? Why should people come to you? That's the big question here. Now remember, when you are selling, or when you are running a business, there are two things that you are promoting in your business. One is your product, the things that you make for people to buy, and the second is your service. Okay, how you build relationships with your customers, how you build your network. You have to remember that when you come into running a business, you have to be a person that people can go to. Your service, a person that people can relate to. They're comfortable to come to you. So the best way I can describe it is, imagine ourselves if we go to a like a shop near our area, like a community shop, and the shopkeeper is the most grumpiest person that we've ever come across. and they shout at you when you come into their shop, and they don't want to serve you, and they shout at you, or maybe they just loud and you feel like they're shouting at you, how would you feel? How would you feel if you go to that shop and the person was unpleasant behind the counter?
Find another new shop to go buy.
Yes.
I don't want to buy from the person.
Exactly. You will run away.
He has the best.
But will you keep that to yourself? Will you keep that information to yourself?
No, I'll tell everybody.
You'll tell everybody, and we like that in the Pacific. Yeah, coconut wireless is stronger than the Wi-Fi and all this telecom line. Trust me. Yeah. We'll go and tell 3 other people. The 3 people tell the next 3 people. So we have to understand that our service will help us to sell our product. Yeah? These two, they're very important. Don't just say only your product is important. It's your service too. They have to be welcoming. Yeah? And you will have to remember, do unto others what you want to be done to you. So if you are serious about your business, you want to grow, you want to be different from your competitors, what should you do? Bank on your service. Improve your service. Even if your product might not be the best, but people will continue to come to you and they'll be happy to give you feedback. And always receive feedback positively. If they tell you, no, I don't like this, don't get angry and chase them away. You receive the feedback, with a good heart, because only if you do that, then you know what you can change and improve on, so that your customers can stay with you and they will bring in other people. Okay. So I wanted to emphasize on these 3 and product and service. Okay. So now we'll go into the family business. Can we have a volunteer to read page number 5? Any volunteer? Moji, you want to read? Okay. Who's that?
Anais.
Anais, you want to read for us?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, the family business. Meet the family who are going to help guide us through our journey into financial statements. Tom and Martha have 2 children, Alice and Felix. Tom and Martha each run their own business, which Alice and Felix love to help with during their holidays and after school. The businesses were started by Tom and Martha as a way of generating income to support their family. They chose businesses that use their existing knowledge and skills, but feel that they could do better with some more knowledge on the financial management side, particularly as they would like Alice and Felix to take over the businesses when they're old enough.
Naka. Okay, let's just scrutinize this this family business. So with us, when we want to start a project, who's the first people we share our idea to?
Our family.
Our family. And who are the first people that help us to build that business?
Family.
Our family.
Yes. And our children, will involve them, and they will be free labor. When we beginning, they have to help here, help there. Yes, that's okay when you involve them. And I believe that when you involve children in your business, you are teaching them. Make sure you don't just growl at them and tell them do this, do that. No, you have to also teach them the other end, like selling and all of that. And that actually will embed in them the entrepreneurial mindset. When they watch what you do and they participate, it's eye-opening. One example I can share with us is when we go to the market and we always see our Chinese community when they are selling like this after school. Their children, they are standing right next to their parents selling as well. They are embedding the entrepreneurial mindset with the young, with their young. And that is not a bad thing. It's actually a very good thing because it teach them about responsibility and hard work. Okay. So we'll have a look at family, the two different business. Anybody want to read island styling for us? Any volunteer?
The font is bigger, I can read it. Otherwise, I don't have my glasses.
Oh, yes, sorry. How can
Yeah, if you could zoom it in, Mary Angela.
I will. Hold on. It's a bit too much. Hold on. Can you see that now? No?
Yeah, I can see it. If you could
Bit
just scroll
more?
down a bit. Yeah, I think a little bit bigger, say 80.
One moment. Can you see that?
Yes. No, that's good.
Okay, Dawn, thank you. Can you read that for us? Thank you.
Sure. Island styling. Martha's business, Island Styling, started when she identified that there was a demand for colorful, cool island style clothing. Martha knew that she could buy beautiful fabrics locally, sew these expertly herself, and that would sell easily at the local tourist markets. She was very busy at first making lots of bright dresses and cool loose shorts, to make sure she had enough clothing to sell and wouldn't run out too quickly. This became easier when Alice got older and could help her at the market stall after school and during holidays. While there were a number of other clothing stalls at the markets, Martha knew that her clothes were the best quality, so she set up her stall with good quality and attractive displays to showcase her clothing and attract customers. While this cost her a little bit more money, it meant that she could also charge a little more, so she was still making a profit. As the business grew, Martha also started making alterations to the clothing, which she then delivered to her customers' homes or hotels for them. This extra service became very popular. Thank you.
Thank you, Dawn. So that business, let's apply those three things that I had mentioned earlier. Now, does Martha have the skills?
Yes, yeah.
Good. She didn't have to acquire the skills to hire someone with the skills. Yeah. Now, does Martha have a market? People that will buy her product?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And did she come up with what are some new ideas that she came up with in her clothing business?
So she offered delivery. She made alterations. Offered delivery to homes and hotels, so that catered to the tourist market as well.
Yes, and that's her service. She's actually using that part there, the service. So she can build her relationship, she can win more customers, so she can make things, she can make her business different, because there must be other tailoring business in the same locations. But what's different about her? She adds this extra service, an extra product in terms of alterations and all of that. She's able to do that for her customers, and that's what makes her stand out from the rest of the other tailoring business. Okay, thank you for that, Dawn. Now let's move on to waterfall wandering. Do we have any volunteer that like to read waterfall wanderings?
I'll read.
Thanks, Marita.
Waterfall wanderings. Tom's business is waterfall wanderings. After working for a local company, Tom saw that there was a particular type of tourist that wasn't being catered for, and he knew that he would use his skills and knowledge for the local waterfalls and the history to start his own tour company. Many of the most beautiful waterfalls could not be accessed by conventional vehicles. So Tom decided that he would invest in a four-wheel drive bus, and some good hiking and camping equipment to run the tours for the more adventurous tourists. While his tours weren't the cheapest, he quickly developed a reputation for being well organized, having access to the lesser known waterfalls, and for having a wealth of knowledge and stories about the local area. Apart from having a great experience, Tom also wanted to ensure his customers had a special reminder of the trip. So he developed a range of locally made souvenirs that they would only purchase from him. This proved extremely popular too.
Vinaka, Mavina. So did Tom have the skills, or did he need to hire the person with a skill to operate his business?
He had
got the skills.
Yes, and what can you mention? What was his skill?
Tour guide.
Well done. Did he have a market? Did he have people that would want to buy the packages he sold for his touring company?
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did. Okay, so he identified that there are tourists, that there are people that would like more, adventurous tour, rather than just the easy places they can go to. That they would rather go to other extreme or more remote areas. Did he have, did he plan for his future? Did he have other ideas just to make to differentiate his business from other touring company?
Yes, he did.
Okay, and what was that?
He had knowledge of the stories actually for the local areas that he was taking the tourists to, and also locally made souvenirs.
Well done. So he had, he used his storytelling skill of the areas. Yes, Broderick, you. Yes. Did you have a question, Mervin?
No.
Okay. So he also provided camping equipments, hiking and camping equipments for his customers, and that made it different as well. So these are the two different businesses, and they belong to one family. The husband and the wife, they have their two different businesses, but in one family. And those are the things that they use. They use their skills, and like yourself right now, you have your skill set, you are using it to start your project or to run a little business from home, and these are the things that you can start to look at. And from this learning, I'm sure most of you know this, but we just like to emphasize on the importance of it and why you're doing it. Okay. So that's on Waterfall Wandering, the two businesses. One moment. Let me just. Okay, so here we go. We'll talk about starting your business. Can you see that? Most of you have started, but these are just some options for us. The first step in starting a business is to think about what the business is going to sell. Yeah. So there you go. We're talking about skills here, what we are good at making or doing or selling. Are there people who want to buy what the business can make, do, or sell? Our customers, our market. Okay. And will they pay enough for that product or service for the business to make a profit? Very simple. Will they pay enough for you to start making a profit? Okay. Then we need to consider what things the business need to make, do, or sell, its products or service. These things are called assets. What things does a business need to own to operate? If you look at, say, Island Styling, what are some things that she needs to own in order to operate?
Sewing machine.
Yes.
And like material, all the basics for making clothing.
Yes, sewing kit, sewing material,
Display.
sewing kit, sewing machine. Yes, the mannequins, we have the, even a table, for her to put her sewing machine on the table, a chair, scissors, those are the things that she will need to have with her. What about
fabric?
Yes,
Car to
fabric,
transport.
car to transport. What about where will she put the stuff that she sold?
Yeah.
What would she use?
Display units.
Shelves,
Shelves,
racks.
clothes,
Rack.
hangers. All these things, they play a role in operating your business.
Right.
For those of you that have you're operating your business, just look around you. Like Marita, you are doing your tie-dye business. Look around you. What exactly do you have right now that you're using to operate your business? I'm pretty sure you have paintbrush, you have maybe paint, you have material, you need a clothing line or something for you to sun out all your tie-dyes. What else do you have, Marita, you want to share with us?
Thank you. When I started off, I actually attended a workshop that had the ladies from Spine Injury Association, and they taught tie-dye. They just taught a skill, and that I had an interest in it. So I came back and I started watching YouTube videos, and then I started watching on how can I maintain the colors, like to stop it from running out when you wash it. So I managed to gather information on that. And the best paint locally available to us from SPR and Vinod Patel, and how to mix my paint, because the paints that was shown on YouTube are actually overseas and it's very different from what we have in the market. So I managed to master that skills. I didn't really have much resources in terms of I had to use a baking rack because I had to fold the fabric and then coil it, put it on the fabric rack, and use kite strings, rubber bands. And I was so fortunate that the flat that I'm renting in has a huge car park. So I used that to dry the beddings and all those things on. And that's how I managed to start the business. Maka.
Wonderful. But listening to you and hearing all the items that you use, like rubber bands, string, even that baking tray that you said, a baking rack that you use, all those items helps you to operate without realizing. Even if you're using a table at home, all these things help you to operate. So that's why we are talking about assets, what the business owns. Okay. In Waterfall Wandering, if we relate to the gentleman, we know when we were reading his story, all the things he owned was the four-wheel drive, the camping equipment. What else can you recall from that story? What he had, what he was using?
Hiking
Hiking equipment. Even with him, probably he has maps. He has to take maps for his customers. What else can you think of apart from maps that he might have with him?
He'll have to consider proper sanitation, toilets, especially when you do camping like that. So maybe portable loos, or have a camping site with toilets and bathrooms readily available.
True. What about the little things like having to start a campfire, like matches and what else? Maybe a knife or cooking equipment. Those things, they are what the business used to operate. So he has to consider all the nitty-gritty things. And similarly with all of you, when you will start your own business, every single material that you acquire to start your business, you will have to call that the asset. They are called the assets. Now, when you want to start a business, how do you start your business? Like before you get the materials, what exactly do you think you need in order to start your business, to operate?
Capital.
Register.
And what is good? What is capital in easier, like in everyday language?
Money, so that you can start buy your.
Well done.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well done. Now you see where I'm heading with my point?
yeah.
The business operates on the money that we have. Yeah? So that's why I'm continuing to emphasize on the importance for you on how to manage the money for the business. And that's why we're going deeper into it now. Eh? Okay, great. So we had a good discussion on that with the case study for the two. Assets are what the business use to operate, okay? Okay, so the next page we have assets, okay? So Marvin, would you like to read what are assets for us? Thank
Sure.
you.
Assets, what are assets? Assets are things that a business owns and uses to operate as a business. This can include cash, vehicles, equipment, or property. The business needs these assets to make its sales. For example, let's say that a business sells groceries from a shop in the main street of town. The business needs the shop to store the groceries, and it is a place that people can easily find to buy the groceries. The groceries are also assets because until they are sold, the business owns them. Can we continue from there?
Thank you. Thank you, Marvin. Yes, you can continue to current assets.
Current assets. A current asset is an asset that can be converted quickly into cash, such as the goods the business sells. The technical definition of a current asset is an asset that will convert into cash within 12 months. Examples of current assets include cash, debtors, money owed to the business by other people, and stock, goods that are sold by the business.
Okay, so you understand that current asset is simply what you will be bringing into the business within 12 months. Okay, so it's cash that that you are going to, or things that the asset that's going to convert into cash within 12 months. So as you sell, as soon as you make that exchange, okay, your product, you sell, you get the money. That is current asset. Eh? Even the people that come to you and maybe they borrow, we know of that. It happens in our community. They'll come and they'll borrow and they will promise to pay you at the end of the week. Eh? That is still within 12 months. And those people are called debtors. They owe money to your business. So that is called current asset. The money that will be coming in or asset that are converted into cash within 12 months. Make sense? And the inclusive in that is the stock. All those material that you have, Marida, those of you that have other, your assets in your current assets in your business, if you are baking, the current asset is the actual product. And you can include current assets such as, when you do packaging, when you package stuff in it, or you have people that coming to work for you and you pay them because they're converting whatever they are producing for you into current assets, which will sell. If you're paying them, those are called current assets. They actually convert into cash. Okay, so fixed assets are any assets that a business owns that are not current assets. They help the business to make the goods, provide the service, or get them to the buyer. Examples include property, processing equipment, computers, and vehicles. Fixed assets are also known as long-term assets. Okay, so we are differentiating what assets are in the business. Everything that you own in the business, they are actually differentiated. Now you can see the category. You have a current asset. The fixed asset are those things that we were talking about earlier, like the table, the chairs, the sewing machine in that business with the island styling. The clothes rack, the hanger, even the sewing kit, the scissors, all of that are fixed asset. Okay, island styling will not give the material or the product and then tell them they can take the clothing rack too or the table. No, those are fixed assets. They are long-term assets. They are there to help operate the business, but you do not sell them. But they have a value as well. When you start to purchase your equipment and things like that you use for your business alone, they have a value and you can count it as well. If you buy it for $100, in your balance sheet, they will reflect that it's $100. That's how you reflect it when we construct the balance sheet. And this is what we're learning now is leading us up to the balance sheet. We'll come to that later. Okay, so intangible asset, you also have another asset called intangible asset, okay? And this is what it says. Some businesses may also have assets of non-material nature. Can you see that? These assets known as intangible asset cannot be held or touched, but add value to the business. The most common example is goodwill, but they can also include license, permit, trademarks. So your business name is an intangible asset. Whatever you call your business will become an intangible asset. Your license, your permit, they're of non-material nature, but they add value. Okay, so a lot of times when we want to buy something from a shop, we can just see the logo of the business. It has a value as well. For example, if we go anywhere in the world, we want to go to McDonald's, what is one thing that can tell us we are, we are there? That's McDonald's, can identify that business.
The signboard.
Sign.
What does the sign look like? Can you describe so we can all imagine right now?
Big yellow M.
The big yellow M.
Red.
Yes,
Colors,
not a cloud.
red.
Yes, it's the big M, and it's a huge M that's on top of the building. Wherever we are in the corner of the city, once we spot it, we know where to go. So those are called intangible assets, and they actually carry a good value when your business has established itself and it grows. So that leads me to this point. Hold on. Okay. This is something that we want you to understand that's very important when you start your business. Okay. It's called, can you see that? No, Let me just do the black. It's called registration. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Registration. So when I talk about registration, what am I talking about? Can anybody?
Registering your business officially.
Yes.
Registering
So how do you register your business now? Anybody know?
You
go
go
online portal.
Yes, you go
And
on
register your name, and then you take it to get your TIN number.
Yes.
and then go to Flickr. Once
Yeah.
the name is approved.
So please, I emphasize on registration. At the moment, we're very blessed. Have we started paying for a business license again?
No, thank God for that.
No.
It's free after the
At the moment, it's free. And we are fortunate that at the moment, we can take advantage of that. That we don't need a business license yet. So it is important for you to register. Do your registration online, attain your registration, do the needful, go and get a TIN for your business. The reason is because you actually set your, formalize. I was talking about it yesterday. You actually formalize your business. There are some, come a time, there are some benefits for you, like Ignite4Change, Fiji. They want to help small businesses, and if you're not registered, you are not recognized. Because we have to lessen the risk. Someone can just come and commit a fraud, and we don't want that happening. So when you are a registered business, it makes it easier for this group. It makes it easier for our government when they have incentives to give to the small business operators, that you come with your registration and you can qualify. They will recognize you. So it's important to do that because it's for the long term. You don't just look short term. So those are called intangible assets, and I continue to encourage you, when you want to operate a business, do the needful so that you can help your business to attain the benefits we have right now. Okay, great. Okay, hold on. Oh, sorry. Trying to. Okay. Here we go. Funding the business. So those assets, we have to get assets that we need for our business from somewhere. In most cases, the business will need to buy them. So now we need to think about where the business will get the money from to pay for them. Where do you think you can get the money from to pay for things in your business?
Loan and government
Loan.
assistance.
Okay, where do you think you can get the loan from?
Banks.
Are you sure that's the first place you go to?
Your family,
FDB.
Wait,
your save.
Or any other financial
what did you say,
institution?
Anais?
It could be because you're starting up, you can either loan from your family to help you out or take a portion of your saving.
Yes, that's true. The first place we borrow is from who? Not from the bank, from the family. Yeah. So make sure when you are borrowing money from the family, what do you need to do?
Pay them back.
Yes, pay them back. Make sure you pay your family back. Otherwise, you're going to create tension in your home. Okay. Okay. So good. We understand where we can get the funding from, and I'm grateful to, I'm happy to hear that you said the bank, your government grant, all of this. Wonderful. Okay. So the business, so here it goes. How the business pay for these assets is referred to as funding the business. Again, we're going back to money. Yeah. When you want to start your business, you will have to have options. I will need to find money. There are things you need to pay for. Maybe you have the resources already. Yeah. For some of you that may be going into marketing, like opening a vegetable stall, you probably have a farm there, but there are things you need to buy to help operate that business, okay? So the case study says, now we know that assets the business needs to operate, the business needs to buy them. The question now is, how will we pay for them? Eh? So I'll give you some options. First of all, you can look at your savings. Okay, you can look at how much money you have already to start your business. Okay. Second, you can look at, if you don't have the finance, you don't have the money, but you have the skill. Yeah, you have the knowledge, you have the skill. You can actually operate the business. Another option for you is to look for someone to fund your business, and those are called investors. The investors can be the family, the one that we borrow from. So before you borrow from them, you can ask them first, do you want to be a partner? Yeah? So you can be and then you discuss, what are your shares? Yeah? Not just because they give you the money, they have to hold 50% shares or more than you, 70%. Remember, you're doing the hard work. You'll be the one operating the business, okay? So negotiate a good share for both of you. Other options that we have is grants. We can look at grants. What places that are offering grants to start your business? I would recommend the last place you go to is borrowing, like, loan. You exhaust all your options around you. When you know that there's no other means, then borrowing should be, for me, borrowing for your business should come when your business is already operating. Like it's already running and you want to grow. How I mentioned, like you want to expand, you want to grow, because you have built some money, you have put aside some money in your business. You already have cash flowing in your business so that you can actually use that as collateral to borrow to grow. Yeah. But otherwise, if you're borrowing from family, I would encourage you, take the time to pay them back. And we're going to look at that. Okay. Make sure that your business is not on, like how, the risk there is it's owned by someone else. Yeah? So you actually locked down with that borrowing. You need to pay it back unless and until you pay it back, then you can fully own the business. Anybody wants to add anything else to that, or is that clear? Yes, Mervin, you raise your hand.
Yeah, thanks. I just wanted to contribute to that just for the benefit of everyone in the room. Unless you would know where I'm coming from on this as well. You know, when Ignite4Change started, of course, it's not a business, but it's an NGO. So we have a similar story on that as well. So when we started off with nothing. So the normal resources that we have was just because we do community engagements, and also it's basically the materials that we have, stationary materials, you know, relying on other people in terms of transport. And also when we also, now that we've gotten up on our feet, we've noticed that we sort of marketing ourselves, yeah. And we see that, you know, when you reach out, especially to Suva, because Suva has a lot of the key people or key investors that might be interested in supporting, whether it's your business or an NGO. What we've also learned is that, you know, aside from going to the banks, you know, there are other agencies, like, for example, the US Embassy, they also have some small grants that are available as well. And so, like, you know, we've also done projects with them as well. You've also got UNDP, UN. So, you know, for many of us in the room, you know, it can be a bit of an intimidation part because these are big agencies, you know, that, you know, and of course, you know, there's that issue of, you know, oh, well, I'm coming here, you know, with my business or with my NGO, and, you know, they might look down on me. Of course, there's that level of intimidation, but, you know, it's all about marketing yourself, but also it's who you know. Marita will also attest to this because we're sort of products of that, you know, that whole marketing slash, you know, just trying to reach out to these people. So we've seen when we reach out to these people, you know, at the end of the day, just to be clear, we'll have the projects. In terms of the funding, the donors are the ones that pay for the project. So we just sort of ride on whatever financial support that they can. And it's been going on for quite a while now, even till date. So, you know, it's just my encouragement, everyone here, you know, whether you're doing a business, whatever idea that you have, you know, it's no harm in asking people from the top, because at the end of the day, you won't know until you ask them. So yeah, that's just some of my contributions that I'd like to give. Thanks, Mary Angela.
Thank you so much, Mervyn. I'm happy with what you mentioned because that's exactly what I also wanted to emphasize. You know, to run a business, you can't be the shy person and hiding away. You have to come out of your shell. You have to come out of your comfort zone. You have to put yourself in a place where maybe it's uncomfortable. Only then, when you do that, you take that step and you put yourself outside of your comfort zone, you will discover your strength and you will fully discover what you can do. Why I say that? Because I speak from experience, like Mervyn. Like I already mentioned yesterday, I have been running this these trainings for 10 years now. When I first started, it was a hard thing for me to talk in front of people, you know, just to sit in a classroom and run a training for. I was very nervous. I was really, really scared. But then I got myself outside of that. I left the comfort of my office, the bank where I work, and I went out to the community. And what I discovered when I went out there was I literally fell in love with it. Meeting the people and running the session and communicating and like this. Now, even to this point, I never dreamt that I'll be doing trainings virtually. And those are some of the benefits of being bold. So I would recommend step outside of your comfort zone and be bold. You might just discover the potential you have just by doing that one thing. And who knows, one day, I hope that I'll be knocking on your business door because I will come and say, I'd like to come and ask for your business to come and bank with us, okay? And that can only happen if you take that step. So I encourage you, do not be afraid, because you will never know until you try it. And again, we emphasize on that, you never know until you try it. So yes, thank you for that, Mervyn. And we shall move on now to the next topic, and it's on liability. Okay. So liabilities. Any volunteer to read liabilities for us? Anyone? Rupanshi, Prakash, would you like to read for us? Just asking.
Yeah, sure, I can read.
Oh, thank you. Can you see the writing? Can you see the?
Yeah, I can see.
Wonderful. Can you please read that for us?
Okay. What are liabilities? Liabilities are monies that a business owes This includes bank loans, overdrafts, credit cards, and money that a business owes to people for supplies. For example, let's say that a business is a grocery store that sells apples. The business buys the apples from a local farmer, but only pay him at the end of the month. Until the business actually pays the farmer the money it owes him for the apples, the business has a liability. Liabilities can also be known as debts. Do you want me to
Wonderful.
read current liability as well?
Yes, please.
Okay. Current liabilities. Technically, a current liability is money that a business owes, which must be repaid within the next 12 months. Examples of current liabilities include overdrafts, credit cards, and creditors, people who the business owes money to because they have supplied the business either with goods or services.
Thank you. Can you read the remainder? Long-term liability too?
Sure.
Thank you.
Long-term liabilities. Long-term liabilities are any debts that the business has to pay, but which do not have to be paid within the next 12 months. Examples include loans to purchase a shop or equipment.
Wonderful. So the closest thing that I can emphasize here to liability is when you borrow, or if you are running a business on a credit, like buying your equipments from courts. If you are going to buy equipments from somewhere on a credit term, like hire purchase, if you agree to your repayment to be just within 1 year, that's a current liability, because it's within 12 months. But anything that's more than 12 months, if you go and buy an oven from courts and you want to pay within 1.5 years, so that would be 18 months term, that becomes a long-term liability. However, as you continue to pay for this, liability, as you continue to pay for it, like say your high purchase account in courts, after 6 months of payment, it will convert into current liability from long term. Now you get that? So that's the difference. Anything that's more than 12 months, it's long-term liability. If it's within 12 months, it's current. Now, as a business owner, if you establish a relationship with maybe one of your supplier, let's say, let's just use Marida's business. Forgive me, but just an example. Marida, so let's say you built a relationship with SPR, because you're paid, you're getting it from there. So you go to SPR and they know that you're continuing to buy from them, you're a legit business, and then you tell them, okay, I'd like to open an account with you. I would like to pay you monthly. So they will say, okay, we'll supply you the paint, and at the end of the month, you have to come and pay. So Marida, you will get all the paint you need. You will go and do all your tie-dye. You will convert all of that into your product. You will sell. The money that you get, you collect it. And by the end of the month, you have enough money to go and clear your account with SPR. So as long as you have that account with them where they supply you and you're paying at the end of the month as agreed, that is your liability. So you become the person owing. You know how you have the assets, you have the people owing you. Now for liability, you are owing. So you become a creditor. You become a creditor. You have creditors, which is like that, like SPR is your creditors. Okay, understood? Anybody doesn't understand that? And the reason why we have liability in our business is because our business, we have to buy some things under credit as well. Some of us will have, our borrowers, people we borrow money from, like the bank, or from our family. Please regard that as your creditors, and you pay them back in your business. So when you do that, you are on the right road on running your business finances, because your business, you need to have a look at all these little things and make sure that you are you understand. Okay, so that is on liability. I'd like us to move on to what is called owner's equity. Okay. Do we have any volunteer to read owner's equity? Oh, sorry, before we move on to this, any questions from the group with regards to assets and liability? Maybe you don't understand something, we can, clarify it better for us before we move on, or any sharing. Anybody want to share that maybe they use this, this relates to them? All good, eh? Okay, any volunteer to read owner's equity? No? Okay. So I'll read owner's equity. Oh, sorry, who's volunteering?
Anaise.
Anaise, thank you. Yes, please, by all pleasure.
Okay. Owner's equity. What is owner's equity? Another way of funding the business is to use the business owner's money, known as owner's equity or net worth. This is generally either money that the owner pays to start the business, that is capital, or profits that are used by the business instead of being paid to the owner. These profits, when kept in the business, are known as retained earnings. What is retained earnings? When a business makes a sale, a portion of the money collected from that sale should become profit. When the business uses those profits to either purchase new assets for the business or repay some of the business liabilities, they are called retained earnings. So retained earnings is important for a business. The way profits are used can have a big impact on the long-term success or failure of a business. Any profits that the owners use to buy things that are not used by the business is not retained earnings. This is because the profits have been removed from the finances of the business and have not been retained.
Yes. So anybody doesn't understand that? Okay. If you are taking note of some of this information that we're sharing, if you're writing it, and there you go. So the assets are actually bought as well from the retained earning. We already spoke about it, like your savings. You put it into the business, that becomes your capital. It's called capital. And when you start to operate the business, as soon as you start making money and you have some profit, and then you use the profit to buy more things for the business, like assets. As soon as you do that, same time, you are retaining that earning back into the business. And you, without taking it out to spend it on yourself, it is called retained earning, okay? So those are the two things under equity. They call it equity. Now, all these terms, if you've done accounting back in school, these are accounting terms. And I just want to emphasize a bit more that I'm not an accounting student. Working in the bank for 15 years, I'm not an accounting student, to be honest. Actually, I'm a law student. And I just wanted to emphasize with us that if I can understand this information, which is so simple and simplified, and if you've done accounting in school, it isn't too hard to understand, Yes. So what the three terms mean: assets, liability, and owner's equity, they build what's called a balance sheet. In the business, when you're operating your business as it operates, you have to construct the balance sheet. But as your business grow, you can hire an accountant to actually do that for you. You can get someone in your family who is an accountant or has some background knowledge on accounting. They can assist you. You need to do the balance sheet, and they usually do it 6 monthly or annually. You need to do the balance sheet so you can see how far your business has grown to. Is the business growing or not? You need to do that to measure your business. And this is the financial side of it, so that you can see for yourself, Am I doing well in the business or not? That's exactly what it's for. And it's important that we understand this term. Come one day when your business is growing, someone will come to you with the financial booklet of your business, you know, the story, yeah, the finance part of it. And it's going to show all your assets. This is the total amount. You should be able to understand what it means. When an asset, the assets is what I own, you'll be able to read it, and you'll be able to understand. This is what I own. Liability, oh, this is how much I'm owing, you know, in the business, so that you can understand the term. That's why we're going through this. Okay, come one day your business is growing, or if you read someone else's business information, and I have some examples in the booklet for you. You can look at it, read it, and understand it. Okay. So there you go. And this is what it will look like, the balance sheet. Okay. Can you see that? So the asset does not exist. Sorry, entering someone. The asset does not exist without the other two, liability and owner's equity. The asset cannot exist without those two. It needs those two to be able to exist. Okay, simple. And that's why it's called a balance sheet, because the total of the other two, liability and owner's equity, should be the same total of the asset. Yeah. So when you put your money in, or you retain some profit and buy extra equipment or what do you call that, materials for your business, or stock, you are retaining all of that into your business, they fall in the right side of the balance sheet. The liability, if you borrow money so you can buy some of your equipments, you know, just to pay some things, that's also on the right side of your balance sheet. And everything from the right will help the left, the asset. Okay, so it will help to supply your stock. It will help to generate money. When you start to sell, it will bring in the income. It will help to buy your fixed asset, to pay for your permit, all of that, and they all fall under the left side. Okay, and they have to balance. So this is this one here. Sorry, if you look at it, that's the formula for it. Assets equal liabilities plus owner's equity. So the liability plus the owner's equity together should balance the asset. Okay, so if it's 200 on the right side, it should be 200 on the left side. That's how the balance sheet is constructed. We're going to do one after this. So let me just read out the balance sheet. It is important for a business to have a record. Okay, are you recording your business? For those of you that are operating, do you have some sort of recording going on right now? Okay, we'll touch on recording in depth tomorrow, but I want to talk about this one. It is important for a business to have a record of all the things it owns. That's the asset. The money that it owes to others, which is your liability, and the money that the owner has contributed, owner's equity. Okay, you should have a record of all these three. This record is typically kept in a document called balance sheet. Okay, it is called a balance sheet because the value of the asset that the business owns must equal or balance with how those assets have been funded, either by liability or owner's equity. Exactly what I just explained. So it says owner assets equal liability plus owner's equity. And if you look down, Pacific Office Supply. Sorry, Mochi, you still writing?
No, ma'am.
Okay, don't worry. Mervin will send you all this booklet, what we are seeing on the slide. You'll get one each. Okay, so if I go down a little bit and you look at the picture, it says Pacific Office Supply. Look at Pacific Office Supply. They have the assets on the left side. The first few assets are called the current asset, and the total is there. The cash, the debt is the stock. After the current asset, then they have the fixed asset, the vehicle, the furniture, fittings, equipment, land, and buildings. This is a very big business, Pacific Supply. And that's what their balance sheet look like. Okay. Now on the right side of the balance sheet, they have the liability. As soon as you see liability, you know, go debt. So they have overdraft, they have creditors, people that they owe money to, and current long-term debt. That's the amount. and then they have the long term at the bottom. Okay, so they have the total there, and then right at the bottom of underneath liability, you have owner's equity. So capital was the amount of money that they pumped in themselves, contributed from them. And the retained earning was the amount of profit that they put back into the business. And when they calculated the total, it came to equal 660,300. It equal the bottom, the assets equal the other two on the right side. Can you see that? Okay. So I have an activity for us and we're going to do it together. All right. So here, case study, Martha's business island styling. One moment, who's chatting? Yes, oh, thank you. Okay, Naka, and I say, Martha's business island styling has accumulated the following assets to run the market clothing stall. Okay, so all these from cash, fabric, thread, completed clothes, sewing machine, tables and chairs, rack and hangers, sign, and motorcycle. Can you see that? That's all of the assets. So we have to differentiate them by current asset and by fixed asset. So cash, is that a current or fixed?
Current.
Good. Fabric and thread, is that current or fixed?
Fixed.
Why is it fixed? You think about it. Is it current or fixed? The fabric and thread, the thread is sewn into the clothes and it becomes the final?
It would
Or
be
stock.
current.
Yes,
Current asset.
it's gonna be current.
It's going to be current. Well done. How about the completed clothes?
Current.
Good. Well done. Sewing machine?
Fixed.
Fixed.
Good. Tables and chairs?
Fixed.
Fixed.
Rack and hangers?
Fixed.
Good. Sign. What about the sign? Or maybe that's the signboard.
Fixed.
Intangible.
Tangible.
No, the signboard is a sign is
Okay.
actually
Sorry, fixed.
yeah. In this case, we'll regard it as
Fixed.
the signboard that they put outside.
Okay.
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 Okay. All right. So I will draw here so that you can actually see. And the last one is motor. Can you see that?
Motorcycle. Fixed.
So motorcycle is fixed or current?
Fixed.
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 Okay, so this is the asset. Can you see that? Asset. Then we have we'll put the current first. So cash. And we have the completed clothes. That comes to total. Can you see the board?
Not that clear.
No, ma'am.
I think the light
The
shining
light
on
is
it.
shining.
Can you see that now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, sorry about the light shining on that board. So the total current 800 plus 500 plus 1,000 is
2,300.
well done. So that's the current. So we will add up the other ones. Now we move to the fixed asset, which is sewing machine. Sewing machine, it's total of 1,500.
1,500.
And then we have tables and chair, and that is 500. And then we have the rack. We have the rack and hangers, 400. Then we have the sign, 100. And then we have the motorcycle. Can you all see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So 1,500, 2,000, 2,500. How much is this? 5,500, eh?
5,500.
500
That's the total fixed.
fixed.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
Now we have to put total asset. Total asset. Eh? And 5,500 plus 2,300 comes to
7,800.
7,800. Okay. So we've got our total asset here, 7,800. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, 7,800. See, that's how you will break it down. And it's 7,000. So we have to make sure that we will get our total liability and owner's equity to be 7,800. Okay,
It has to
there.
balance, eh?
It has to balance exactly. So we have on the bottom the writing. Can you still see the case study, the reading?
Yes.
Okay, the reading says, to pay for all this asset, Martha firstly provided 2,500 of her own money. So what is that? What category does it come under, liability or owner's equity?
Owner's equity.
Owner's equity.
Equity.
Well done. And it's under which one? Retained earning or capital?
Capital.
Returning.
Good. So here we go. So we will put equity and capital. How much was capital? 2,500.
2,500.
There you go. And then we have the business has retained last year's profit of 900. So what is retained last year's profit of 900? Is it owner's equity or liability?
Owner's equity.
Owner's equity.
Good. And it's under retained earning, eh?
Yeah.
And that's 900. Okay, so add these two up. This is total owner's equity. Okay, so this becomes how much?
3,400.
3,400.
3,400. Okay. So is 3,400 equal to 7,800?
No.
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 It's
So
some
we-
more.
Yes, and that is the what? The liability,
Yes.
eh? We have to do the liability. Okay, so we have to look at the story, and it says, and then Martha got a bank loan of $3,000 to help pay for the motorcycle island styling. 3,000 is it a lot of money, or she can pay for that in 1 year?
She
Can
can pay.
pay 1 year.
You sure? It's a small business, eh?
A lot
To
of
me,
money.
that's
No,
a lot
no,
of
no.
money.
Business.
Okay.
Last
A lot
year's
of money.
profit was 900.
Okay, so what we do, good citing. Now what we do, we are going to consider that as a big loan, eh? So she's buying her, so it would come under liability long term, okay?
Long-term liability.
Motorcycle here, okay, liability, eh? So motorcycle is $3,000. There they are, and that is long term. Okay. Sorry, you are unable to see that, eh? Long term. And then we have to try and get to help for the, okay, island styling owes its suppliers. So like that, like Mariva, you're owing SPR 1,200. Those are called your creditors, eh? So this one here, Martha, she's got 1,200, eh? As her creditors, and they come under current because she needs to pay them within 1 year. And she has a small overdraft. So overdraft is only 200. Can she pay 200 within 1 year?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so the total current liability is 1,400 and long term is 3,000. So that becomes 4,400. Eh?
400.
Okay, so that's the total liability. Now we are going to add up total liability plus owner's equity. Okay, can you see that? My apology. Okay, we're going to add it up. So 4,400. So here I will write total L plus owner's liability, owner's equity. Can you see that? L plus equity. So 4,400 plus 3,400 is
7,800.
8.
7,800. Does it balance with this one?
Yes.
So look at the total amount. 7,800 this
Yes.
side and 7,800 this side. And
Balance.
that's, yes. So that's how you can construct a balance sheet. I'm sorry that we went through that a little bit too fast. Anybody wants me to retract, or is that okay?
Are you able to just send us a screenshot of the board?
Yeah, I can.
Just for our reference,
Yes.
like email or
Ma'am, can
or
you
however.
point your camera to the board? We can screenshot
Yeah.
it.
It's just hard to, I can't even see.
Sorry, Dawn.
That's okay.
Okay, we'll start there.
Mary Angela, if I may, you could also, after the training, because we will also publish the video out as well, if you could also just take a photo so that when we send the video, we can also attach the shot of that.
I
later
will.
today. Yeah.
I will. I'll vibrate to you, Mervyn. Eh?
Yeah, that'll be great
I'll
because
take a shot of it from my phone and I'll vibrate to you. Yes.
no worries. Yeah, because everybody's accessing their email, so I think that'll be quite fast, especially for today. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. So that should that should give you some insight on how you can construct your like the balance sheet. You know, we had that little practice where you told me, you know, the assets, we differentiated what they wrote there: cash, fabric, and thread, completed clothes. So now it's giving you insight into the difference in current and fixed asset. We're able to identify from this story liability, the owner's equity. So those things now give you an insight into how to construct the balance sheet there. But like I said, you know, this will happen when as your business progress and they grow. The reason why you need to do a balance sheet so that you can see how far your business has grown from when you started to the end of the year, if you're starting from the beginning of the year. And it will help you to be able to value as well the worth of your business in total. Okay. Balance sheet is learning the terms of the balance sheet, the assets, liability, and owner's equity. It is good for your knowledge, because in the future, if an accountant actually construct your balance sheet for you, when they actually do it for you, when you read you should be able to understand what you are reading. This is a very simple balance sheet that we constructed, and if you compare that to the one from the other business, this is big, really big. This is a very big business. Okay, so I'll show you another one, waterfall wandering, another balance sheet of waterfall wandering. Can you see that? So waterfall wandering balance sheet is at 30th June. As at 30th June, and they have their cash, which is 2,000, stock 500. So if I refer you back to this one here, it says the assets to run the market clothing store, cash was 800. So that came under the assets. Okay, so cash, stock, they have debtors, and then those are called their current asset worth 9,000. They have their fixed asset, which is the equipments and their vehicles, and the total came up to 60,000. So the total assets alone was 69,000. And then they have the liability, the overdraft and the creditors, 3,000 and 4,000. Total was 7,000. They have a long-term liability. They're still paying for their vehicle and their equipment. They borrowed to buy those two, the fixed asset. And they owe 10,000 and 25,000. It came to a 35,000 total. The long-term liability. But both liability, current and long-term, the actual total is 42,000. That's big. That was their total. That's what the business owes and what they had to borrow to buy some of their equipments. or to operate their business. And at the bottom, they have their owner's equity. How much money they contributed themselves was only 15,000 out of pocket. And then the profit that they gained, they were retaining 12,000. The total owner's equity came to 27,000. So 27,000 plus 42,000 came to a total of
69.
69,000. And did it balance with the asset for them?
Yeah.
Yes, it has to balance. The only time that your balance sheet will not balance is when you unfortunately cross anything from the right to the left and the left to the right. When you make that error, you cross it. When you go and put capital again in asset, when it's supposed to be in owner's equity, something like that, then it will become an issue for you, where you can't balance it, and it'll be off. So as long as you understand the term liability, what the business owes, regardless of current or long term, it's just to differentiate the two, because one is just more than 12 months and the other one is less. And owner's equity is the profit. So return earning, another term for it you can use is profit. All the profit that I gained from my business, I pushed it back to the business. So let's just say you made $200 profit this month. And out of the $200 profit, you took out $50 to buy yourself a nice new item for yourself. Personally, maybe you bought a shoe for $50. And then you took the $150 and you bought an equipment, or you bought more stock for your business. How much of is your return earning? 200?
No.
From the profit. How much is your return earning?
150.
150, because you took the $50 out and used it for your personal spending. You didn't buy the shoe to help in the business. You took only 150 and you went and bought more items for your business to operate. Maybe you stocked up your supply, all of that. So that's how you will read it. If you put whatever you take out to use for personal expenses is not included as retained earnings.
Unless you
But
put your shoe under uniform for your business.
Okay, that's the first time I ever heard of. But no, I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think you can use it as uniform, because you've removed it from the business to operate the business. But good thought. I should go and explore that option too. Just find out if that can be used or not. But from my understanding, no. Once you've removed it, you've removed it.
Okay.
Okay. So that is a simple balance sheet by waterfall wondering. As your business grow, you can actually use that as well. So here on this page, this is a spare balance sheet that we've included in your book, in little training booklet, your material that you will get. It's there. And see, you can just use this concept and put it in an exercise book. You don't actually just have to use our book. You can put it in an exercise book that will work for you. And that's how you can actually measure all your business, what you own in the business, and see if it's grown or not. Balance sheet is very important for you to construct in a business, because it's the story of your business for the whole entire year. And you will see from where you started to where you are, if you have made any progress or you have not. Otherwise, you might not know why you can't grow, because you are not keeping track of all your recording. So it's very important that you do recording. Okay. So any questions from the team before we wrap up? This is your time, and then we'll continue the other learning tomorrow. Was that okay for everyone to the information? Was it of understanding? Like, was it simple enough?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now we have this time to have a question and answer. If you have some questions from yesterday, or you have some questions about this morning, this session we've just had, I'm giving you time now before we wrap up and end our today's session. Any sharing? Anybody want to share good stories or stories that maybe, you know, give them a good learning? Or anybody want to share about their business now? What you're planning for yourself? Feel free to share. This is your time. Shristika and Merisi, are you still with us?
Yes, madam.
Oh, good. Lovely to hear your voice. I haven't heard your voice the whole morning.
Yes, ma'am.
And Merisi?
Yeah, yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Oh, wonderful. I'm not sure what happened to Mary. She must have dropped off.
Madam,
Yes.
as she said, like retained earnings, buying of shoes for as a uniform, and then unless the like your small business has a uniform, a special uniform, like if you're running a small business as a cleaning business, then buying of shoes will come under retained earning as it's under the uniform of the company.
Under equipment.
Yeah, under equipment.
Okay, so if you put it in the owner's equity, you'll have to add it under fixed asset.
Yeah.
Okay,
And even like some companies, they provide for their employees.
yes, that's true. Those are for big businesses. Eh? Yes.
Yeah.
So whatever you add on the right, you have to make sure you justify to on the left with the asset. Okay, so it becomes an asset for the business.
What if we get short, like we don't know where we use that a certain amount from our liability. We have like our liability is there about around 500, and the asset side on the left hand side it's 389, 390. What about that $110 that's missing? Where will it go?
So that goes to show that because you'll still reflect it, you'll still reflect 500 on your liability that you're still paying for that, unless the balance has gone down to 390 that you paid off that 110. But in your in your asset column, you have to reflect. The 390 is your reflection, 500 is your liability. Now, if the 110 is still there, it's not being used, then you have to reflect it too on your, then you can't say 500 is your debt. You have to reflect it on your balance sheet that 390 is what you've used, because the 110 you can just put it back into your repayment to decrease your debt to 390 if you don't use it. Yeah, you get where I'm coming from. So you have to reflect the amount in liability, and it should equal the amount in fixed asset, unless you use the whole 500. You say 390 was used for fixed asset, 110 was used for something else, then you reflect it, both of it. So there's a 500 this side and 110 and 390 here. But you asking where did that 110 goes? I think you can always revert it back into your payment.
Yeah. And one more thing, madam, the price, like when we buy some items and like as a stock, so we take the selling amount of the item or the buying price of the item as a stock, because there's two prices that we consider.
Yes, the selling and the buying.
Yeah.
Okay, when you're talking about selling price, I believe with your asset, it's your selling price. Hold on, let me come back to you with that answer. Eh? I'll have to get that. I'll have to get that answer for you, and I'll give it to you tomorrow.
That's one of the main question. Like every company that's trying to resell an item from like after buying, then that's the main question that comes in. Either we take the buying price or we take the selling price. Because according to my understanding, selling price will be the income for our company.
Yes. And that's where it reflects in your owner's equity if you are going to retain the earnings. Yes, the profit. Yes.
So
if you take the selling price, then that should reflect in your owner's equity. But don't worry, let me get that answer for you, so that we know that we clarified. We have accountancy in the office, in the bank. I can always go to them and ask them and pick their brain and make sure I get you the answer.
yeah,
You're welcome. Any other questions? Those are really good questions that came out. Anybody has any other questions?
Madam, what about the savings? Like if we take out a certain amount from the company's cash and put it as saving, where will it be classified as?
That should reflect in your assets, current assets, cash.
Okay, saving.
And it should reflect in your retained earning as well as profit. You can reflect it in those two. Under current assets, cash, and owner's equity, retained earnings, because you are saving it for the company. But let me get back to you on that as well, just so that we are sure with our answer. I don't want to just give an answer and then now eventually it's wrong. I don't want you to leave this session this week and not having the correct answers to your question. Okay. That's very good. I really appreciate questions. Anyone has any similar questions you need clarification with? If like I said, if I'm unable to answer you, I will get the answer for you.
And one more thing, ma'am. For the income, like after selling the product, like I bought the product for $7 and sold it for $10. So I received the cash of $10. So will the cash in the asset side have $7 or $10?
Okay. What you're talking about is your pricing here.
Yeah, the pricing, like after selling the item,
yeah,
it got $10 cash. So that cash, will $10 be my cash, or from there I have to take out retained earnings and get the normal cost of cash? Like that's one confusion I'm stuck on.
Okay. So the cash is what you are bringing into the business. So $10 will be your cash, not the 7.
Okay.
Yes. And when it comes to the breakdown of like it's like the buying and the selling and the profit, how you determine your profit, I will actually touch on that tomorrow in the learning tomorrow. It'll be a bit more detail. What we will cover tomorrow will actually cover how you determine the net profit.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. That's wonderful. Questions are coming from there. In terms of your questions, the two that I will go and clarify. Thank you, Shristika. Similarly, for everyone else who have been listening in and contributing to today's learning, thank you so much for your patience and your interest. Mervyn, thank you for this session. So we'll see each other again tomorrow. And if you have any other questions for us tomorrow, please feel free to bring your questions to the table. If I don't have the answer, I will go and find the answer out for you, like today. And I'll take a picture of what I've written up. Forgive me for my writing. I will vibrate to Mervyn, and he can send it across to all of you. Okay, so I think that's it from me for today. We can wrap up now, and everyone can have can finish earlier than yesterday. Yeah.
Right. Thanks so much, Mary. Just before we go, just a couple of things from my end. So because tomorrow is the last day, we just want to ensure that we just want everybody to come on time. Thank you again, Mary, for the presentation today and as well as for yesterday. We'll look forward to tomorrow. Again, just recapping, for tomorrow, if you've attended all three as per agreement, then you'll receive. So you'll be receiving 2 certificates at the end of the course. The first certificate is on financial first, and the other certificate is about business basics. So once the end of this training session, we will be talking with Mary Angela about the certificate process, and we should send it across. We've got your numbers, so we just want to ensure the numbers that you gave during your registration for this training session is working, so that when we call, we don't have this scenario whereby your phone is off or your phone is diverted, and also we'll be in contact with you on that. Also, on that note, we'll be distributing the books as well. Reiterating what I said early in the morning, if you have colleagues or friends, so we have 2 training sessions that are left. So the second training session is scheduled in the week from 18th to the 22nd, but we'll be sorting out the day. So it'll be a 3-day training, similar to what you guys are going through. And the other training will be in the week of November the 1st to November the 5th. So we'll also sort out the 3-day training on that period as well. So a registration form is available. It's still open. We've opened it up. We're still wanting people that are interested in attending training session 2 and training session 3. So it's sort of whatever you guys are learning. The similar thing will be to your will be taught to your colleagues and to your friends. Also on that note, again, the evaluation forms, there's a few people that have filled it up. If you have not filled that up, really encourage you on behalf of both Mary Angela and myself, if you could fill it up. I've just put it on the chat now, again, just for everybody's benefit. Also, during the course of the presentation, you might have gotten an email. So the financial first training is already, the video is already on your emails. It's also on YouTube. When you do have the time, please have a look at it. Any queries and all, for whether it's on certificate, booklets, videos, or if you want to also talk about having another training session with your group, your community, whoever it may be, do let us know. We can sort that out as well. We're more than happy to. Mind you, also just for the benefit of Ignite4Change, so financial literacy is not the only trainings that we do. Marita is one of our members in the group as well. So we do trainings on all fields, so on good governance, human rights, any topic for that matter. So we're not limited, though our key thematic group is on young people, but we're sort of branching out to women, community members, so on and so forth. Also on that note, just what I had mentioned in terms of the examples. So if you're interested, if you've got your business or not, just do look out for the opportunities. For example, the US Embassy has a women entrepreneurships program that'll be launched sometime later at the end of the month or early next month. It's a 6-month program that'll be specifically for women entrepreneurs. So there's no age barrier. If when it does come out, we will let you know. We're also on social media platforms. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and also on LinkedIn. Just for everybody's benefit, it's on Ignite4Change. If you do have trainings that you are interested in, that you want us to sort of help in terms of facilitating, we're more than happy to accommodate. You just advise us, and we will sort out all those logistical matters and all. Again, those are just some of the things. Please do fill up the forms as well. That's already on your chat box, the evaluation forms for the financial first steps so that we could just submit that to Westpac. Other than that, we've run now full time now, so I'll let you guys go. Thank you so much for coming to today, and we look forward to seeing you all tomorrow at 10 o'clock. So yeah, thank you so much, everybody.
Bye everyone. Enjoy